I was lucky enough to be invited to be part of the press preview for the Blackwood chapter for the Elder Scrolls Online. Let me tell you some of the things I learned. Hello, it's Icy. Yes! Thank you to ZeniMax for inviting me and other members of the ESO stream team to be part of the preview for Blackwood, the next chapter that is coming June 1st BC and June 8th. For console, it is exciting. It's the new big thing for the Elder Scrolls that's coming. There is a lot of content. Let's get into it. A few things before we start. All of the footage you can see here is being provided by ESO because the build we got to see was more than a month old, wasn't final, had bugs, the whole thing. So considering that the PTS is coming out in like 5 days, you're not missing out on much by not seeing any live content off the preview. You'll be able to see the whole thing for yourself or on this channel very shortly. But let's talk about the presentation. So we were given a presentation virtual. Obviously it is 2021. It is the year of the virtual, by Rich Lambert, the creative director of the Elder Scrolls Online, and he had some sort of general introduction things to say. 2020 was the most successful year for ESO ever. Unsurprisingly, many people were looking for a second home, and I think they found a fantastic one in the Elder Scrolls Online. ESO crossed the 18 million player mark, which is fantastic. Rich said that the year-long stories introduced with Elsewhere, continuing with Greymore, and now onto Blackwood, have been really effective, and I think players have enjoyed it. They've been fun to play, like a long story that all connects together, but obviously it's been also very effective for development reasons as well. So I think they've been really good. Working from home, Rich said, was a big challenge. In fact, a bigger challenge than they thought. It's been okay. He certainly sounded satisfied with the kinds of things that the ZeniMax team have achieved, but obviously for them, like all of us, it would have been easier to be able to work from workplaces and interact with colleagues face-to-face rather than over virtual. But the year has been what it has been, and we have had no choice. We've just done what we've needed to do. So it's still amazing that the Greymore chapter was as good as it was, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Blackwood will be like. Do remember that the majority of Blackwood's development, in fact probably all of it actually, is still being done at home. People are starting to get back into the offices now, but the majority of the development for this chapter happened last year. So do keep that in mind as you see what Blackwood is like. The global reveal, obviously, also virtual, but that meant I got to participate. Hey, so not all bad. Update 29, which was the chapter quarter 1 part of the long Flames of Oblivion update, so part of the Gates of Oblivion sort of year-long chapter, was the most stable update they've had in a while. Very solid, very little problems with stability or after problems, so really well done for the team there as well. So Blackwood is the chapter itself, obviously. A year-long story told in 4 parts. The reason Elder Scrolls calls the new content is called chapters, not expansions, unlike other games, is that expansions can have a connotation, as Rich explained, that they are for veteran players only. They're expanding the existing content, lifting the level cap, lifting the requirements, making it so you need to have more and more. Where Elder Scrolls is a broad game rather than a tall game. So the chapters actually add more content, They're broadening it out, but they're still always available to every player, which is a really great way for this game to sort of grow and evolve, and it gives it a different place to exist in the marketplace compared to other MMOs, and I really like that. I like it a lot. It's not like there's no content for veteran players in here, but it does mean that the majority of the content in the chapters is available to all players. So you can kind of start anywhere with the Elder Scrolls and jump in at any time, and not only run the old content until you get to here. You can start with everybody else and start with the hype at the highest level, which I think is great. Blackwood is described as being Imperial meets Argonian, which pretty cool actually. I really like that idea. It covers the Blackwood area. It covers the area basically east of Cyrodiil and west of Shadowfen. So it goes from sort of the Topal Bay region in the south, sort of bordering with Elsewhere, all the way up through the middle area. So there's actually a very large landmass to this chapter, as big as the Elsewhere chapter. So that's actually quite physically large. With I've spent some time riding around to find all the locations in the new Blackwood, and it took me on a super fast horse with CP into speed boosts like an actual long time to ride the entire area. And unlike maybe some of the other maps, that whole like there's no large mountain ranges or anything that actually break up the zone. You can actually pretty much ride from one side to the other, so it's actually physically very large. If you played the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, as I did, because I am old, it'll feel very familiar to you. It will feel quite home-like. I certainly thought yeah, memories were coming back. A little while ago I delved into some of the old Oblivion zones, and you can find that up there in some of the previous videos to have a look and see how things looked back in Oblivion. So yeah, it's pretty familiar that way. So within the zone there's something like 30 hours of new quests. So that's a big chunk, and that doesn't also include any of the kind of additional things that you can do around the zone. So so yeah, it's big. It's big. So location-wise, the map, it has two major towns and cities. The one in the southwest is Leowin, which was one of the big locations from original TES4. If you remember that city, and yeah, check out the preview video of me wandering around the original TES4, Leowin, it will feel like home. It is a full hub city, so it has guild traders, it has inn-rooms, it has houses, it has crafting stations, it has writ boards, it has writ turn-ins, it has all of the stuff that you can feel very comfortable to move your character to there and use that as a home base. So it's been expanded a little bit from the 800 year later Leowin from TES4. So that there's the dock, and the dock is working, and there's a number of other things as well. So do keep in mind that you shouldn't exactly expect it to look like the one in TES4. 800 years makes a big difference. So the second zone, the second location, city location, town really, is Gideon, and Gideon's based right in the center of the map. And it's an imperial settlement built on an old alien ruin, inhabited and controlled by Argonians. So it has its own very particular vibe. Gideon was one of the locations from the old Arena game, a game I'm not actually old enough to have played, though I did see some other people playing it. So other places around the map, there are 6 delves, 2 public dungeons, 1 trial, and of course a bunch of other locations and quest places, and a couple of other small villages, and you will very much enjoy exploring the very, very beautiful zone as well. Starting with highland forests down around Leowin, then into the Blackwood sort of bogs that you'll remember from TES4, and then into the, I think he said, Gloommire swamps. but I wasn't actually sure of the pronunciation because we're listening over Discord and not sure what it actually was, but we will find out soon. So the story, as I'm sure you're all aware, if you have been on any sort of social media, is a deal with the devil, basically, with Mahune's Dagon. Daddy Dagon, as the Elder Scrolls community has designated him. I think there is some bemusement from the development team as to Daddy Dagon, but they're just going with it, so it's fine. So the story starts out very briefly, no spoilers. You're investigating the threat to some counselors who had links with the Longhouse Emperors. So the Longhouse Emperors were ruling Cyrodiil a couple of hundred years before, sort of 50 years before the events of the Elder Scrolls Online in the Integrum. So between the, I guess you'd say, the real emperors. So the Longhouse Emperors are actually Reachmen, who invaded Cyrodiil and took over. So there are 3 Longhouse Emperors. I'll have a link in the description below to a very good UESP article. The first guy, whose name starts with D, who's very hard to pronounce, who basically invaded, took over, and a whole bunch of stuff. And then his son, and then finally Leovic, who actually pops up occasionally in, well, perhaps his animated corpse pops up in the Imperial City chapter as well. And King Emmerich himself was the one who defeated Leovic as well. And so he actually does have quite close ties. Not only that, Leovic was actually married to Clivia Tharn, who is Abnathan's daughter. And Leovic was actually deposed by one of his former counselors. Yes. And then who then goes on to become emperor and is... Okay, this is spoilers, but spoilers for the original main story. Goes on to become emperor. So I'll just leave it there. If you're interested, read the description and you'll know who I'm talking about. So there are 2 returning main characters who are part of the main story. Okay, so it's Evely, who is the Wood Elf archer from the Hrothgar storyline, who... Check out the video. Do check out the video. I've gone through and found her and chatted to her, so you can actually see all of her text, so that you can catch up if you're not able to play the Hrothgar storyline before launch. I would recommend it, actually. It's very good. It won't take you long if you just stick to the main story. Really well worthwhile. And Lyrinth as well, who is a Daedra who takes an interest in the players. You can find her in Shadowfen, Cold Harbor, and Imperial City Prison. Do check out the other video I'm linking to now, where I've gone through and once again talked to her so that you can see the things she has to say and the kind of person she is. If she is the right word before this, if you can't manage to do the quest yourself. There are also other returning characters, apparently, like Lady Laurent and Stibbons, which is awesome, as well as a bunch of new characters. And I gotta say, exploring the world, I ran across somebody who I very much like. Their little quest location wasn't completed. They didn't even have like their textures on properly. But I'm very excited. I can tell you more about that. I don't know, just ask me in the comments or estimate, ping me on Twitter or something. I'll tell you who it was if you're really interested, but I did say no spoilers, so we'll just leave it there. We have new world events. They're called Oblivion Portals. So very similar to TES 4, that you actually find a portal, go through to the Deadlands, do some stuff, close the portal. They're random. They appear randomly on the world. They're not marked on the maps. They're only there for a few minutes once you've actually gone in and activated them. So they will close off from the outside and you'll be left inside. So you need to clear it, or basically you can just leave by the original portal, but if you leave, you can't come back. So I do have a full video on that. Do check the link when the link is there, which it will be soon. But check the playlist that this video is part of to see the full video I've done on the Oblivion Portals. So rather than include it in this particular video. Companions is the other big new thing for this system. So not a new class or a new skill line. We actually have new friends. New people to play with, which I think is actually fantastic. So companions give players who've been in the Elder Scrolls Online a new way to interact with the game, perhaps to interact with someone. It's also been designed to ease solo players, because there are a lot of solo players and ESO is well able to be soloed, but it's able to ease solo players into some group content that maybe they didn't feel comfortable with doing before, which has the additional benefit of making some of the older content available to new players who weren't able to do it before. So perhaps you are a solo player and you just don't want to do dungeons because you don't want to group with people. That's okay. Maybe you can now actually experience some of those dungeons or public dungeons and go in with your companion instead. Or perhaps you just have one other friend and you didn't want to group with other people, so both of you can take companions. That way you have 4 people and you can go in and do a dungeon, for example. They will not be available in PvP or in solo arenas. Both of those places you will still need to do it on your own, basically. So companions replace the player count in a dungeon. So there are still only 4 people you're able to have in a dungeon. So if you have 2 players and 2 companions, that's fine. If you have 3 players, you can take 1 additional companion. If you have 4 players, then no companions can be added. Trials are the same. Trials have a maximum of 12, so it's like a maximum of 6 players and 6 companions, or more players and less companions. They are not as smart as a player. Let's be real clear here. They're not, and they don't do a great deal of DPS. DPS is probably maxed out companion, maxed out skill, maxed out gear. They're probably doing around, say, 10k DPS. So just do keep that in mind as well when you're playing with your friends. Full video, as I said, do check it out. You will hopefully answer all of those other questions. So, the Rockgrove Trial. Yes, a new trial, so a new normal version and veteran trial. A village of Argonians. This is down in the southeast corner. Village of Argonians overrun by worshippers of Mahuna's Dagon, and they're bent on summoning an army from the Deadlands, which of course is what worshippers of Mahuna's Dagon like to do. But we do need to stop them. So there are some new mechanics in here, as reported by Rich Lambert. And he said specifically he was amazed that, and they didn't think it was possible that you could actually do it with the engine. So I'm really curious to see what the new dungeon is like. Yeah, I really want to try that out. Do watch my Twitch channel, actually, twitch.tv/ICYIC, link in the description. I will be doing this trial with my trial group. Once Blackwood is live, we will be doing this trial, so do come check us out and you can be able to see for yourself what it's like. For achievement hunters, and that's for doing all the super hard stuff. 3 bosses, sorry. Each have their own hard mode. It's counted as a full trial, so it sounds like it's probably going to be quite similar to maybe Sunspire. And yeah, there will be a new mount for achievement hunters, so you can do all the hardest of the hard achievements as well. So very interesting. Along with every chapter, it's not just the new stuff, it's tidying up and making the old stuff better as well. So once again, there are base game enhancements and updates. The biggest one here is the console enhanced update. So console players, this is free if you own the existing console versions, but obviously it will only run on the new consoles. 2 new modes: performance mode at 1440p 60 frames a second, and fidelity mode 14K 30 frames a second. You'll get to choose between those. If you've got an Xbox One S, performance mode is 1080p at 60 frames and fidelity is 1440p at 30 frames, because that's a lower powered box. So not only that, all of those standard PC enhancements that you can get, things where you can turn on bloom and anti-aliasing and all of those sorts of things, will all be available as well, which is fantastic. It's going to look amazing. And reduce load times. Load times reduced by almost half, which is really, really good. So if you own a PS4 or an Xbox One, whatever, do check it out. Let me know, actually, in the comments when it goes live on June 8th, how it is for you. I'd be interested to know. In addition to that, there is a brand new tutorial system, so a brand new player tutorial. It is not linked to the Blackwood chapter. It will going forward the one tutorial system for all chapters from now on. It's also the one tutorial system if you buy an old copy, like if you buy one of the previous copies of the game as well. I have played through it. It's very good. I like it. It's very much focused on, here are your basic mechanics. Here are your things you need to pick up. It's short. I don't feel the need to play it again. I don't think I would need to play it more than once. And it has that advantage, at least you're not missing story if you're starting a new character again, and you're an existing player. But when you get to the end of it, you're actually able to choose where you want to start in the world. Blackwood is prominent, and it is quite clear that that is the possibly newest, fanciest way to start right now, but you don't have to. If you wanted to start in a way that felt you wanted to most replicate it, the existing old school starting point, you can pick an alliance zone to start in, which is fantastic. You can pick elsewhere, you can pick any of those sorts of ones. There's a little brief in-story explanation of your starting choices, which is fantastic. But yeah, I really like it, actually. I think it's great. There will be a video about this, but I'm going to do that once it launches on PTS, as opposed to the preview videos, because that way I'll actually be able to have footage for you to see, which I think is important for that particular video. So keep an eye out for that. Base game updates more. There is a new daily task activity. You'll find it under the Activity Finder UI, where you would queue for dungeons or battlegrounds. And it is the sort of thing that you are just general stuff that you can tick off as you're doing other things in the world. It's a kind of really basic stuff, like maybe, do some crafting writs, or kill 10 skeletons, or, that kind of really low level basic stuff. You only need to do 3 out of the 6 things to get a reward. Some of the rewards are just general, a bit of gold, a bit of XP, but you also get new currency. So this new currency, are there too many currencies? Maybe, but this one's a good one. I like this a lot, and I think you will too. The new currencies are called the Seals of Endeavor, and you can use them to buy anything from an active crown crate. So if you want that really, really fancy radiant mount, if you save up your Seals of Endeavor, you'd be able to buy it. This is really very exciting. You can use, there are the existing crown gems as well that you get from crown crates. From basically trashing crown crates, and whether that's the Ouroboros crown crates that you get from watching Twitch streams that have drops on, or because you've bought crown crates and you've got doubles and it just automatically trashes it. You can still use those, which are now also, you're able to buy anything with those. But yes, the new Seals of Endeavor. There's no cap on the seals. There's no time limit. There's no reset. You can save them up for as long as you like. The Crown Crate seasons do come back, so you might see something really, really cool come up and it's like, oh my god, I want that Radiant Mount desperately. I don't have the seals I need yet. Just wait. Like, it might take you a long time to save them up. Just wait for the next year. So I love this. I really am looking forward to this one. I haven't been able to look at this one specifically yet because this particular feature wasn't enabled on the preview build that we had access to. So it should be on the PTS, so do expect a video about this one as I go into this. I'm really excited. So some more performance quality of life updates. Voice chat in console backend has been rebuilt to be more reliable. Obviously, I am on PC, and if I need to do voice chat, it's over Discord, but that sounds like a fantastic thing. There's been a bunch of combat performance work on the backend as well, which should improve server performance. So there's a very popular add-on on PC that I use myself called Action Duration Reminder, which basically tells you how long your skills are active for. So it's very helpful because it lets you know when you need to recast a skill in order to keep it going for as long as possible. That's going to be integrated into the UI. It's called the ability bar and the ability back bar tracking, and you can turn that on in the settings. And that obviously will be available for console as well as PC. So very good. That one I like. Perfected and non-perfected sets will be able to wear together and get the 5-piece bonus of the non-perfected. So if you're upgrading, you'll actually be able to take advantage of the new things you've got, but yet you don't actually get that perfected sort of additional buff until you're wearing 5 pieces. And you'll be able to choose your own title music. So if you particularly love like the Somerset title music, you'd actually be able to have that playing on all of your title screens rather than just the current chapters music. So, as I've said through here, public test server April 19. I will be making so many videos. Please keep an eye out on this channel. There will be lots, maybe too many. I'll also be streaming it as well on the public test server, so come check me out over at twitch.tv/ICYIC on the day. I'll have giveaways probably as well, so yeah, come and say hello. That would be appreciated, and drops are likely to be on. So PC Stadia, the chapter releases on June the 1st, and on console it releases on June the 8th. So it's all very exciting. I am very much hyped for all of the new information. I realize this video is a very long video. Thank you if you stuck all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions about the preview stuff, ask me below. I am happy to answer what I can. I'm streaming this weekend as well, so feel free to jump over there and ask me any questions there as well. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.